Special guest number 2 at Kraken's Garage, plus one shout out. Let's talk about that. Let's get cracking. Good moto morning. Welcome, beautiful people, to Kraken's Garage. I'm your host, Eric, and on Kraken's Garage, we discuss all good things on 2 and 3 wheels. And on today's episode, we're going to discuss Bonnie and Pete's visit at Casa de Redneck, otherwise known as Kraken's Garage, and how that all went down. Plus, we're going to do one shout out at the end. I hope you stick around to find out who that is. Let's get cracking. We had a very special guest come visit us at Kraken's Garage, Bonnie and Pete. When Thomas and Jody were here for PurpleOnThree and PSPTommyG, Pete made a beeline down from Canada to meet up and be here. So I didn't really show him when I talked about Thomas's and Jody's visit. Pete wanted to hang out with us, and we had a great time and some great riding. Took him on some back roads and things of that nature. So Pete didn't get to go on those rides, though. He was on an agenda. He had to get down to Florida. Who Pete is he is the husband of another content creator that I very much adore, and that's ArtistonaHarleyD. I don't know if you remember, Bonnie is the one who painted the watercolor for me. That I'll post a picture of up here, and I'm indebted to her for giving me such a generous gift. The odd thing is I was actually just reaching out to her to commandeer her to paint me something, and she was dropping this gift in the mail. So talk about coincidence. So let's get to the story. First, a little bit about Bonnie and her channels. Bonnie's rocking a 2016 Harley-Davidson CVO Street Glide, and Pete's rocking a 2018 CVO Street Glide. Bonnie has 3 channels, believe it or not. I don't know how she does it. I can hardly keep up with just one. She has ArtistonaHarleyD with 235 subs. She has Artist in the Garden with 620 subs, and she has Artist in a Studio, and I don't know how many subs she has on that one. So on Pete's journey, he got sick of being quarantined and said to heck with it and threw caution in the wind and hopped on his bike and rode down to Florida to visit a friend, and then left his bike there and caught a plane back to Canada. So this trip he was riding Bonnie's bike down, and when he got down to Florida, Bonnie was going to fly down, meet up with Pete, and then they were going to start to make their tour back. Epic journey for them. They both hail from Southern Ontario, Canada, so mentally, I just can't digest that in 2 days, Pete rode in the pouring rain to get here to my home, non-stop riding, and it just seems a lot further in my mind mentally than it was, but nevertheless, Pete made it down here and very much enjoyed his company. Thomas and Jody went back home. Pete took off and went down to Florida. I took off on a train to went and go buy the BMW R18. I hustled back home. Pete and Bonnie made their way up. They have some wonderful stops. I don't want to steal their thunder, but they have some epic footage coming up of Maggie Valley and some exciting things they saw around in that area that they're going to share. With only 235 subs, folks, please go over and subscribe to Bonnie's channel, ArtistonaHarleyD. She does a tremendous job, and she works so very hard, so I'd like to see her. Why she doesn't have 1,000 subs by now, I don't understand. So if you go over and check them out, please let them know that Kraken sent you. So here's some footage of Pete and Bonnie arriving, and I have my usual signage up for their channel. As crappy as it is, I am not an artist, so it's probably an insult to Bonnie, but come on in. It's cleared out for you. I just opened the door. How's that for timing? Come on in.
I'm coming.
Huh?
I'm coming.
Let the bag assassin in. I broke my heart when I heard it. I'm like, man, poor Pete has been snake bit on this trip. Oh, you're so jammed up over there. You can. Well, I'll move them around and get you some more space.
Hey, partner.
How you doing, man? Good to see you. Did you have a good ride today?
Oh, we had a great ride today.
Very good to meet you. I don't know.
Eric.
Thank you so much for coming. We're honored. We're honored to have you. So
Thanks for having us.
I'm filming, so I'm going to shut this off at this point. There's my welcome sign for what it is. And they came roaring in, and we got them squared away and settled down for the evening, and threw down with some drinks and playing cards, and just had a grand old time with them. It was a lot of fun. Say one thing, they did hit up the Tail of the Dragon, and Pete brought me back a Gremlin Bell. 318 curves with 11 miles of a Tail of the Dragon Gremlin Bell for my BMW R18, and I will proudly put that on my bike. I did a video on the Gremlin Bell and the history of it. It goes way back hundreds and hundreds of years, believe it or not, but most of it stems from World War II, but I'll post a link to that video if you have any interest up there. So thank you, Pete. I will rock that bell on my R18, and hopefully it'll keep me out of harm's way and out of trouble. Maybe not out of trouble. I was born in trouble, so. So I love that watercolor that Bonnie made for me so much, and she wouldn't let me pay her for that. So we found a way to take care of them, and I'll go over that in just a minute. They took an epic ride from Southern Ontario all the way down to Florida and then back all the way home. That was a heck of a ride for Pete. He put a lot of miles on the bike. There were a lot of mishaps along the way that you need to go watch that epic journey on. We took them out for supper as a congratulatory thank you for the wonderful artwork, and I'll share some pictures and a toast Bonnie proposed at that supper. And
Oh, and that's hot.
Cheers to a wonderful ride in Virginia with wonderful friends.
victory in cards last night.
Oh, fighting words.
Gave them a flavor of Virginia regarding how we live life in this neck of the woods. Every different area of every country in the world, there's a different flavor, and I wanted to give them a taste of Virginia. I took them out on a 180-mile ride loop that took us up through Culpeper, up through some back roads, into the mouth of Skyline Drive and the Blue Ridge Parkway. We coasted along the Blue Ridge Mountains there, very scenic, mountains on both sides, and then probably my most epic road that is close to my domain is Route 211 that cuts through the Appalachian National Forest. It's kind of a mini Tail of the Dragon. So then we tootled our way back home. I should say that I kept offering if anybody wanted to ride the Revival, and nobody took me up on it that day. But Pete did when he was down here with Tommy and Jody, and it was starting to drizzle, and I said, you know, do you want to ride it? It's now or never. And he's like, sure. So we suited up and off we went. And I'm gonna catch raspberries for this, but I'm like, I hopped on my Vespa scooter, and I looked at Thomas, Jody, and Pete, and I said, try to keep up with the 155cc scooter. And they all kind of snickered at me, and off we went. And I took some back roads and took them on a loop real close to home here, and we had a hell of a good time riding around on the bikes that day. And yes, I did manage to stay ahead of him just barely. And Pete's like, no fair. He's rising, crying foul. You have home field advantage of knowing the roads. And I said, yes, I do, but it's still only a 155cc scooter. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. So after that epic dinner, we got back to the cabin and played some more cards, and off they went. And I'll share some footage of their departing as they head on to their next stop, and they were riding up to Pennsylvania to hang out with Thomas and Jody and another special guest, and I don't want to spoil the surprise for Thomas and Jody in their videos, so be sure you check them out as well. So that's how it all went down. I've been very busy between picking up the new bike and traveling to get that, plus a couple of visitors coming and going, and I'm very blessed on many levels for every part of those journeys. It's been absolutely wonderful. And the fellowship is where it's all at, folks. I would give 1,000 subs to meet and hang out with any one of these people that I met. So thank you for coming and visiting me and Mrs. Kraken. We're honored, we're blessed, thank you. And you know what time it is. This week's shout out goes to Coach Bob 3. Coach Bob and his wife, Coach Vic, have a 2019 Can-Am Spyder RT. He also has a 2019 Suzuki SV650X. And I'm not sure, but I think he may still have his 2015 Triumph Speed Triple. Coach Vic is paralyzed, so that's why he's rocking the Can-Am Spyder and he loves it. He is towing a trailer that they stow her wheelchair in, and nothing is stopping them. They've been across the country twice on that bike, and they continue to make epic journeys. I really love Coach Bob's channel because he is an epic storyteller. He has such a can-do, positive attitude to listen to and hear about his adventures, and he keeps things always on the sunny side when I watch his videos. I walk away from every video smiling, and for that I thank you, Coach Bob. So I hope you folks go check him out. They have 343 videos out. He has 6,670 subs. His channel is no joke. He is doing a tremendous job. If you stop by and you sign up to subscribe to Coach Bob and Coach Vic's channel, please let them know the Kraken sent you. And with that, there's my ghost dog, Daisy May. She's here to tell me to wrap up this video. If you like this video, if you would like to become a Patreon, the link is listed down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. If you want to see more in the future, hit that subscribe button right down there in the corner. And remember, folks, go riding because it's good for you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.